This morning on The Dish, a chef who rediscovered his roots in Italy and brought its cuisine back home. Nicholas Stefanelli grew up in Maryland with both Greek and Italian grandparents, and they all loved to cook. He originally considered a career in the fashion industry, but after a fateful trip to Italy where he sampled some of the country's best cuisine, he decided to become a chef.
His first big hit was Washington, D.C.'s Masseria, winner of the coveted Michelin star. Then came Officina, a restaurant and marketplace at the city's Wharf development. And next year, he plans to open the Greek-themed Filatimo. And Nick Stefanelli, good morning and welcome to The Dish. How did I do with all those pronunciations?
Yeah.
It was
Great.
fair. Fair at best.
We have Negroni. So
What are we looking at here?
so we brought some of the things that we have in the restaurant, and since we're going into Thanksgiving, some things that'll be great for the table too. We have risotto with white truffle and caviar from our truffle and game menu. Pinzimonio, which is an Italian crudité. Roasted Scottish pheasant with parsley root and mustard fruits. Cauliflower with pine nuts and raisins. Our linguine with XO sauce, which has been on the menu since we opened. Chestnut soup and some cannolis to finish off.
And you mentioned.
And
Yes.
Negronis.
And Negronis.
So,
Cheers. So we mentioned this in your story. You went to Italy. The idea was to be a fashion designer or get into fashion. And then this. What was it about the Italian food that just grabbed you?
growing up with my family, food was always an integral part of the table and the experience of living. And I never thought of it as a career. And then once I saw Europe in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was just, this thing just took over me, and it became a calling, I guess. And I came back and went to culinary school and took it from there.
It was those grandparents' meals on Sunday nights. What did they serve? What did Grandma serve?
There was a lot of gardens in the backyard, so there was always a lot of things that were coming out of there. And, you know, there was one of the dishes that we serve at the beginning of Masseria is a tomato sauce that, as a kid, I can remember just taking a piece of bread and swiping the side of the pot to get that little piece that's drying on the side, so to mimic that flavor. So there's all these pieces of nostalgia that...
Wonderful. You opened your first restaurant in 2015?
Correct.
After working in some pretty big establishments. Not too bad you did. But when did you know it was the right time to make that mark?
It just felt good. I think it
Just
was.
like
The end goal was always to go and open my own space up, and it was just timing. I've worked for a lot of great people, had a lot of good mentors, and it was just kind of the natural progression of leading into taking that next step.
One of the great things I love about Chef here is that basically you ask him what the latest trends are in food, and he's like, we don't follow trends. Right? It's not about the trends.
No,
it's about classic stuff, classic great stuff.
And we're taking things that inspire us, and that's the greatest thing of travel is going to experience new techniques, new food, whether it's going to Italy or going to South America or just meeting new people, and you get to see different things that you can bring into your style of cooking and kind of do that storytelling.
Such different food in some ways. Italian food, Greek food, but at the same time, there's got to be something that ties it together for
There's
you.
a lot of similarities, and then there's a lot of things that separate them as well. So that's going into telling the other half of my heritage. I think that's the good piece of, it's a new challenge as a cook where you're learning something new, you're learning new techniques, and it's, as you go through the research and go through and the storytelling and the dishes and the history of the cuisine and how things were established and where they've come from 200, 300 years ago to where we are today.
Where, you know, when you have somebody have one of these meals, whether it's Italian or Greek, how do you want them to walk out? What do you want them to walk away thinking?
Full.
Love it.
I mean, it's the sense of hospitality. So you want people to be taken care of. You want them to be pampered and nurtured and just kind of feel like they've been your true guest for the evening as they leave the restaurant.
Certainly are. We'll have you sign and ask you if you can have this meal with anyone, past or present. Who would it be?
I would say my grandparents, just because they've never had the ability to see where this has went and created to. So to be able to have them come back and see where we are kind of years later would be great.
The influence. They started it all. Thank you, Chef Nick Stefanelli. If you would like more on him or the dish, you can head to our website at cbsthismorning.com.